Hello again, welcome back to Frances Brown Art, and today I thought I would do a page of Skeet, the sequel, which is not going to be called that, but this is my first book and this is the kind of artwork that it has. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a page. I've decided, so this is my plan, and I'm going to do this page, which is Skeet moving in that direction. So first I'm going to go with watercolour pencils. And there's going to be some plants here, and he's moving away. Is he moving away from the plants? Moving towards the plants. Plants are this side. Okay, so he's going to be here. So I'm going to start on his shell. There we go. Okay. And then Skeet himself he's purposeful. He's going forwards. This is the purposeful Skeet face. He's definitely moving. There's lots of action. The action is all in the antennae, but I'll do them after. So that is all I need to do for this stage. The second stage is to wet. I'm going to start with the sky. So I'll turn him upside down. And I've got two lots of different water, so I've got the dirty water and then the clean water. Okay, so, and then always have a tissue when you're doing this kind of work. So you put the water all the way up to Skeet and you make it quite wet. Okay, like this. And it doesn't matter if you get it on the shell, which I have there. But then you see, you kind of have to look at where the water is, and then you start with some paint. So I'm going to go with, this is the sky, so I'm going to just put some blue, and it's really, you can see how vague it is. There's absolutely no plan, which is why I love it so much. And then you can have so I'm using in fact, this is quite a big brush. So I might go with a slightly smaller brush. So wet the brush, and then we'll go with a different blue. And then again, just streaks, because it's sky. Sky is never really the same way sometimes, but it isn't on my pictures. So we're going to have lots of different variety of colour. There we go. So there's the sky, and I like it when it kind of blends in. Then we're going to have this is my really rough brush. So we go into a blue, and then I flick. So this is my flicking brush. So this is my fun part, and this is why I always go around with one nail really dirty. Okay, so you can also do clouds by just kind of dabbing away at some areas like that. Have a cloud there. Now what I want to do is have the grass and the sky mingling a bit, so you can now see there's my sky. So we're now gonna wet the whole of the grass area with the clean water, and this part doesn't really matter if you miss a bit, or you can always fill that in. It's I think people get worried with painting, otherwise I can't paint, but actually everyone can paint. Okay, so we're now going into green. Okay, and then we're going to go in a different green. Oh, that's the same green. I thought that was a different one. This is what I'm working with. So this is probably why. And I leave it like that. I never clean it up. I never clean it off because I like it. I think it shows that I've been working. Not that this is work, quite frankly. But this part, you see how the blue is going down in, and it would be nice if some of the green went up, because it's nature, isn't it? Nature's not linear. That's why I love it so much, I think. Right, so we're back on our flicking brush. Oh, you notice I've done nothing here. I hadn't noticed that. So we're just going to get a little bit more, or maybe some of this dark green to go there. Okay. None of these colours are super dark. And notice all of my splashing blended in. It looks really good. I love it. I find this thrilling. So what you can do, so that wasn't working, so I didn't have enough water. What you can then do is, when it's dry, we'll flick some more to make it more of this kind of, oh, can you see that splashy kind of activity going on? So, but I've wet this quite a lot. I just want this to be really, really pretty and really fun, and just like, because he's made a decision. He wants to go, and I'm not telling you the story because it's really good. It's I've actually got the third book ready as well in my head. So there we go. So what I have to do now is wait. We're gonna, and where it pools here and at the top here, you can see, you can either let it drip like that, which I quite like, or pull it along with the finger, or you can do it with a brush, obviously, or you can just blot it out. But I think it's fine. You know, it's not. This is not Picasso, although I wonder what he'd have thought. He'd have, who knows? Okay. You can also blow it if you feel a bit like hurry up. Okay, we'll leave that for now, and I shall come back when it's dry, and then we're going to do more flicking, and then I'll show you how I do how I paint skeet, and then we might put some bits and bobs in the background. Okay. Okay, so this is all nice and dry, and now we're going to go with a kind of a smaller brush. I've also got a very much thinner one for the detail. So, but again, we've got 2 cups of water. One will be the dirty cup, one will be the clean cup, and my tissue. Okay, so this is skeet, and we're going to paint in skeet now because obviously everything else is dry. So skeet's renowned for having his rainbow shell. So I have to turn the page, and this is where you need quite a steady hand. Now I had too much water, so I'm going to add more paint and spread this across in order to make it dark enough and the colour strong enough. So now when I'm doing a shell, because a shell doesn't go around like this, a shell goes this way. So I like to have these lines, and they kind of stay, if that makes sense. Even when you've painted, they kind of stay in, so that you've got this impression of that kind of direction, if you see what I mean. I think you probably do know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be the orange part. Now I do the first bit, and then I just kind of blend in. Then I might add a bit more red. So it's all very kind of a relaxed situation. There's no, pressure on anything. I think painting shouldn't be a pressure thing. It should be just fun. If it starts getting not fun, that's when I stop doing it. Okay, and then we want to start going into yellow. You've got to know the rainbow. But there's not a lot of orange, so the orange and the yellow will blend. Now you can also see that the watercolour pencil here is red, so the more I use colour on it, the water I mean, it will dissolve it down, and it should get rid of it mostly. So, and also bear in mind, this is it doesn't have to be like a perfect situation, and there can be areas where it's not perfect, and that's the joy of it, I think, anyway. Okay, so what's next? Green. So we go into that area for green. That's probably wet. Yeah. So what happens is when the watercolour paints are dry, then they don't do anything, and so if you wet it, then you have too much water. It's like the balance. It's like everything. You have to have the balance. Okay. So that's looking fine so far, I think. What do you think? Obviously he's upside down now, but that's okay. So then we start to go into either a darker green, or you see too much water, which on the background was fine, but on here we want the pigment to be quite strong. So we don't want anything to be too watery. And I've got, at the moment, I've got here going about four actual different colours. So now this is the part where you've got to be slightly careful, because obviously the red is still wet. So you don't want to have too much water, otherwise everything is going to blend and bleed into each other. And that's why sometimes there's some, you see like that, that's a little white line. I'm going to leave that in because I think that looks fine. There we go. And then we've got these lines again. I'll just do this a bit here to get these lines. So I've got a completely clean brush now. And then you can go, you see? Ah, there we go. That looks pretty. And all of it is very, it's all very, you know, just chilled. There's no kind of going, Occasionally, I just had a water escape out of one of my things. I thought, oh my God, water everywhere. But apart from that, painting is really gentle, quiet. I love it. Makes me happy. And I'm doing this actually while I'm recovering from my hysterectomy. And it's made all the difference to have this to do. It's been brilliant. Okay, so the last colour we have in the middle is purple, which actually looks almost black, which is fine, because that will blend in with the blue. There you go. What do you think? So there's Skeets. I like this swirly bit in the middle here. Now for the main body, he's blue, so I'm going to get a little bit of white on my brush, just put it down the middle, and then have a clean brush, go into the blue, a tiny amount of paint on my brush, and then go on the underneath. See how, and this is quite watery because his skin, as it were, his body is not the same texture as his shell. So, but the other issue is, of course, that the sky is also blue. So we want him to be able to stand out, but also to not be too, kind of not too defined a line, as it were, if that makes, does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, so this is underneath, it's quite interesting, this piece of green. And then got the back part. So now we're going to do like a bit of shading. Okay. And again, the red and the green here is still wet, so we have to be ever so slightly careful that we don't blend the two together. And then there's this face situation, because you can't, it has to have some kind of expression, and to put an expression on a snail, it's not that obvious, but what I've been learning to do is to make expression using the, I'm blending all that in, using the antennae. Now, here we've got quite a lot of just line, so if I just wet this area, it should start to blend a bit. Do you see there? Don't know how well you can see that. Also, I haven't finished with the splattering, which we're going to do. I don't want to put too much here because he will have his antennae. Antennae? Is that right? Or is that for insects? The long things. Okay, now for the long things, I have various different methods, but I'm definitely going to need my thinner brush. So I wet this, and then I try and work out, so his expression is going to be he's on a mission. He's going to go and find the caterpillar. So I'm going to make them go forward. So he has one from the back. And see how I've only got water on this at the moment, and then one at the front. Now I put my brush into, I'll find the end if I can. This one's much lighter. And then I'll go backwards. This is where you've got to just trust that the angle is right. I reckon that's fine. So now we're going to just make them a little bit more, might put a little bit of white so that we've got a, I don't normally put white, so we'll see how that works. The trouble with this part is that if you make a wrong move, then you make them too thick and then it doesn't look good. So there's quite a lot riding on. You've got to really concentrate on the antennae. And the thing is, they're where all the expression is for the whole thing. So there you go. That's how they're going to look. Now, I may come back, when it's all a bit drier, I may come back and sort this little bit out here. But for now, he's done. And now we're going to do the fun splattery part. Now I said, obviously I'd splattered up here and down here, and this is all blended in. I love how this sky is. It looks really, it's almost rainy, you know. So I'm just going to put a little bit of extra on the sky, but not a lot, because, so I'm just flicking like this with my finger. But I'm going to try and leave the cloudy bits clear. But I just like, I love this kind of, just to, for me, it just finishes everything off. It's my favourite part. But the trick is to not overdo it. I've been known to overdo it quite a lot. However, not today. Okay, so we definitely need more on the green because the grass is looking a little bit vague. So I'm going to add, although I haven't decided what yet, I might add some, I was thinking probably mushrooms. That sounds like a fun idea. There's lots of ways of flicking paint. This one is my favourite, which is why this nail is always dirty, looks dirty as all paint. Or if you have enough, I'll try this, I don't normally do this one. If you have enough paint, you can just kind of flick like that, which looks quite cool. Actually, you know what we could do is flick with some yellow and make it, see if it'll look a bit like buttercups. Let's see what happens. So I've got some yellow on here. Oh, pretty. Yeah, looks a bit like buttercups, like tiny buttercups. That'll be more obvious when it's dry. I like that actually. So I'm going to leave that like that. I might just do a bit more just normal flicking of the lighter green, and then we'll leave it at that for now. This is a bit more kind of upwards flicking to make it more kind of grassish. There we go. But I reckon for now we might put a little bit here. I haven't done his trail yet, obviously. We could do that now actually. Okay, so again we have the thin brush. Now his trail is a rainbow trail, so I usually start with yellow to kind of show me where it's going to go. And it usually goes, I'm a little wet now, underneath, and then he can be going from that direction. Okay, so then we get a different colour. Let's go with a bit of blue, and then so that it follows along, and then maybe some red. There's a lot to this painting. Oh, and they've merged to make like a purple. Oh well, that's okay. There we go. That'll do for now, I think, and then I'll leave it for now, see how it looks when I come away from it, and then see what else it needs. And definitely needs a few extra bits, like maybe do some leaves over here from the plant that the caterpillar is in, over on this side of the page. But otherwise, there we go. That's how we do a skeet. Okay, so I've decided to keep this one really clear of anything to make it a very kind of a calm picture. I've added a few more splashes. You can see how they work around. And yeah, so that's that whole page done, apart from obviously the words. But if you enjoyed this tutorial, please let me know and I can do some more. And look out for the second book. My first book, of course, which is, hold on one moment, Skeet and the Sparkly Trail. That's available at the moment. It's ready for Christmas and for after Christmas. But if you fancy getting that, then it's on Amazon and in Barnes and Noble and Waterstones and various other places. But this is how I do my skeet. So please like and subscribe. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Okay.